the I.
Bro, streamers might be the richest people on Earth. Because what do you mean this guy was begging his viewers to stop donating him money?
I just.
Not technically correct. I have to name this thing. But firstly, I have to explain the changes. For that split second, you can see a lot. Firstly, as you can see, these are basic softwares here, yada. Basically, nothing changed here. I still have to develop in India, the principal in that areas, but we do have this. This is the Fengtian government, and it's now the dominant government in China. As we can see, the Fengtian government is a vassal of the Empire of Japan. But instead I decided, let's change it. Let's make it so that it's just a part of the Japanese alliance. So the Fengtian is a part of the Japanese alliance, which includes Mongolia. The Fengtian government's rival government is the Chengdu government. The Chengdu government is Chinese nationalist and is hyper China first. They are in the Free Chinese League, but the insurgency still remains. Same with the legation cities, but let's make them Japanese puppets instead. The main civil war is the main problems are between the Entente and the Reichspakt. There are some massive differences between both. Some differences, as you can see. For example, the Mountain Confederacy, which is part of the German sphere. Speaking of that, the German sphere actually weakened as massively. This was explained in other video. While the Japanese control a lot of these areas, but they never moved it to the Dutch East Indies, rather maintaining good trading relations with the Dutch, as they didn't have a need to. Along with that, the Japanese should have a control of the Philippines. Oh yeah. No, the American Union State doesn't control the Philippines. So the Japanese control Malay, the Raj of Sabak, and the Philippines and Vietnam, along with the legation cities. The rest are allied. As you can see, this is the Japanese sphere of influence. It's the dominant sphere of influence in China and the East Asian region, with the main rival sphere of influence being the Chengdu government. Well, here we can see that the French offered promises to these countries if they fought in the Second World War. So they freed them, but they are still puppet states. Senegal, Gambia, Volta, Ivory Coast, and more. There is a minor Nigerian resistance which is at war with Middle Africa. Speaking of Middle Africa, I didn't know more about Middle Africa. Following the American Civil War, the American Union State wins, and the rest just collapses as Texas breaks free. So the American Union State So there are many different perspectives of the Russian country of so much size. Russian Alaska, the Californian Republic, the Cascadia Commune, the Mormons in Deseret, and Texas is moved, which is basically which is an American puppet. The Spanish do win this. The Spanish government wins the Civil War. They are basically unable to do anything else. So now let's develop India. Firstly, the Princely Federation is in the south, so they can easily hold against the Bharata Commune, which is currently a member of the Fourth International, so they have to survive. But they become way more radicalized to their loss in the Indian Civil War as many border cities are formed. Delhi and Ahmedabad. This includes Delhi. They are relatively successful against the Princely Federation. The Princely Federation on the lines of Hyderabad and is facing internal struggle between its nations. With it barely surviving, it barely has a capital, so yeah, the Princely Federation is way more weak. But speaking of the Dominion of India, let's move to Africa. We can see the Nigerian revolt, but I'm gonna be making a bunch of other revolts. This, for example, the Congolese revolt in Johannesburg. It's there. Other revolts are in Azania, controlling Tabora, and are incredibly near Dar es Salaam. Bismarck, with them controlling Bismarck. Ubangi Sarashai controls 4. Grandpa. And most of Central Africa. The Egyptians are one of the most successful. The other most successful being the Nigerians and the Congolese. The French are at war with Algeria. The Khanate controls East Turkestan, and which is under Mongolian control as they control these territories. Then Shibai Sanma, the Kumu Khanate are under Mongolian protection allied to the Japanese. While the American Union State didn't truly change the war, they didn't change that much. They have Louisville as the capital. They don't want to embrace the old country. So they decide to move the capital into Louisville. But their elections are basically between two parties. The longest party, which is relatively more liberal but social, which is economically liberal but socially very conservative, and the corporatist party, which is mainly aided by the corporations. The corporations are using their power and blackmailing a lot of people to vote for them, as the longest party is just simply better. If the situation doesn't turn worse, it might escalate into another civil war, especially as the American Union State wants to move into desert California and the communists in Cascadia. Yeah, let's rename it.